The cold did not just bite, it hunted. On the eastern front, winter was not weather, it was an enemy. Snow fell like ash, the wind howled like a warning, and men froze where they stood. Guns jammed, boots cracked, and breath turned to ice in the air. Many soldiers were not killed by bullets, but by the cold itself. Imagine standing still for hours, your hands numb, your feet gone, your body shaking without control. You try to sleep, but sleep can kill you. You close your eyes, and you might never wake up again. But some men survived. Not because they were stronger, not because they had better gear, but because they knew something others did not. A small trick, simple and quiet, that could turn weak heat into strong heat. A trick that could keep a man alive through the longest night. Today we uncover that hidden thermal secret. You may think fire is the answer. Build a big fire, stay warm, simple. But on the battlefield, fire is danger. Light can be seen from far away, smoke can give away your position, and fuel is often limited. Even worse, fire wastes heat. Most of the warmth rises and disappears into the cold sky. The ground steals what little heat remains. A soldier sitting by a fire often feels warm on one side and freezing on the other. So the question was not just how to make heat, but how to keep it. This is where the hidden trick begins. Not bigger fire, not more wood, but smarter heat. Soldiers learned to trap heat, to hold it close, and to use the earth itself as a shield. They stopped fighting the cold directly, and instead they worked with it. The first part of the trick was simple but powerful. Layers, not just clothing, but layers of air. Air is the real insulator. Still air holds heat, moving air steals it. So soldiers wore many thin layers instead of one thick coat. Each layer trapped air, and each pocket of air held warmth close to the body. But they did more than just wear layers. They built layers around them, blankets, coats, even paper or straw, anything that could trap air. A man wrapped in layers was not just wearing clothes, he was carrying a wall of heat around him. And this idea did not stop with clothing. It shaped how they slept, how they sat, and how they survived the night. One of the biggest mistakes is lying directly on the ground. The earth is cold, and it pulls heat away fast. A man can lose more heat to the ground than to the air. Eastern Front soldiers learned this the hard way. Many froze not because of the wind, but because they rested on frozen soil. So they created a barrier. Anything between them and the ground helped. Branches, straw, bags, even their own gear. A simple layer could change everything. Instead of losing heat, they kept it. Some even dug shallow pits, not to go deeper into the cold, but to block the wind. Then they lined the bottom with whatever they had. Now they were not just lying on the earth, they were separated from it. Here is the secret that changed everything. Reflection. Heat does not just rise, it also moves in waves. These waves can bounce back if they hit the right surface. Soldiers used this to their advantage. They placed objects behind their fire or body to reflect heat back toward them. A simple wall of logs, a pile of snow packed tight, or even a metal sheet. Instead of losing heat, they sent it back. Imagine sitting between a fire and a wall. The fire gives heat, the wall sends it back. Now you are warmed from both sides. This could almost triple the heat you feel. It was not magic, it was smart use of what was already there. Snow looks cold, but it can protect you. Pack snow traps air, and trapped air means insulation. Soldiers built snow walls, not just for cover, but for warmth. A small snow barrier could block wind and hold heat in place. Some even dug into snowbanks to create small shelters. Inside, the air was still, and the temperature was much higher than outside. It sounds strange, hiding in snow to stay warm, but it worked. The key was not to let the snow touch bare skin, and to keep a layer between you and the cold surface. With this, snow became a tool, not a threat. Another trick was simple but powerful. Stay close. Body heat adds up. One person gives off warmth, but two or three together create a small pocket of heat. Soldiers huddled together, shared blankets, and stayed close through the night. It was not just about comfort, it was survival. They also rotated positions. The one on the outside moved to the inside, and others took turns facing the cold. This kept everyone warmer for longer. In the worst nights, this was the difference between life and death. Water is the enemy of heat. Wet clothes steal warmth fast. Even a little moisture can make a big difference. Soldiers did everything they could to stay dry. They changed socks, aired out clothes, and avoided sweating too much. Too much movement could make you sweat, and sweat would freeze later. So they moved smart, not fast. They worked just enough to stay warm, but not enough to get wet. Dry layers held heat, wet layers killed it. This simple rule saved many lives. Scene 9. Small fire, big effect when they did use fire, they used it wisely, small, controlled and hidden. They built low fires close to the ground and used reflectors to send heat back. They avoided tall flames and thick smoke. Sometimes they used what is called a Dakota fire hole, a small pit that hides the flame and controls airflow. It burns hot but stays hidden. With a reflector behind it and a barrier below them, even a small fire became powerful. This was the full trick: trap heat, block loss, reflect warmth. Not more fire but better fire. Scene 10. Survival is knowledge in the end. Survival was not about strength. It was about knowing what to do. The cold did not change. The wind did not stop. But the soldiers who understood heat, who used layers, barriers and reflection, had a chance. They turned simple things into life-saving tools. Snow became shelter, air became insulation, fire became efficient. This hidden thermal trick was not written in books at the time. It was learned, shared and passed on in silence. And now, you know it too. Because sometimes the difference between freezing and surviving is not more heat but smarter heat. And in the cold, smart always wins. Kindly like and subscribe for more amazing content.